So, hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. I know we've got some people here in person and we have lots of people on Zoom. And I'm super excited to introduce you to Chris Alston if you don't know him already. Gosh, we've known each other for I think about 5 years now, and he has a super cool long history with Keller Williams. He was a team leader a long time ago, right? I can say that, right? Long time ago.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think is really cool about him is that he's also helped write some of the Keller Williams University courses. And that's how long he's been with KW. You were one of the original authors of some of this stuff, right?
Yeah, we were some of the original people who they interviewed.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. And he will tell you more about his team here in the Bay Area. He runs a very high-level team of which he is the CEO now. So if you've ever read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you'll understand that you have running a 7th level business. And he is here to talk to you about how to reach high goals like that. So that's what this class is about. I think it's a class that you enjoy teaching.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you being here with us today.
Yeah.
So thank you.
All right, cool.
And you want to come on the other side of those
Oh,
stairs, or you're good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. I guess I can come over. I'll move over so you guys can see me on the other side. Hi, everybody. I'm going to come over here. All right. All right. So there we go. I think the camera's probably following anyway. All right. So again, yeah, my name is Chris Alston. I know there's going to be people that are on Zoom and they're also here in person. I run a real estate team based in Silicon Valley. We have about 20 agents who work on the team. We have about 150 million a year of business, roughly. Now, of the shift, we're maybe 110 million, 115 million. But the goal is we're still trying to push ourselves in order to get to where we're trying to go. That being said, I was a team leader for 10 years, and I've been an agent now for 7 years since then, and we've grown the business from where we were to where we are today. But the idea of where we grew was, I was kind of winging it when I first started. I mean, you and I were in Cupertino, and I kind of winged it. And Mark, you and I were there too. And I just, we can only wing it so far because, Gary Keller talks about being entrepreneurial versus being purposeful. And you can only wing it for a certain length until your winging it no longer works. And I was winging it to a point where I was hitting a ceiling of complexity where I just couldn't get any bigger or stronger. And because of that, I had to learn. I had to hire a coach to be able to help me overcome my challenges. And I had to learn. And so I had to essentially step back in order to go forward. Now, I am the president of my company. I'm not the CEO, but in the book, I am a CEO position, but I'm actually the president of my company. I hired a CEO, so the CEO runs my company for me. You'll remember her, Hannah Asaka is the CEO of my company, which allows me to go about and doing things like this because the company's still flourishing. However, I still do work 50 hours a week running business. But today we're going to talk about habits to create a flourishing business, which is kind of like, what are we doing in order to grow our business? Because that's the biggest thing, regardless of what the market looks like. We need to push ourselves to be successful, because you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do tomorrow. You can't build a reputation on what you're going to do next week. You have to build it upon what you're doing right now. And what I mean what we're doing right now is really important, because especially right now, is because the market has shifted so much. Since the market has shifted so much, we're finding that since the market has shifted so much, what we did last year isn't necessarily working this year. What we did 6 months ago isn't working this year. Are you guys experiencing that same thing, where it's just not the same? I'm just pulling up something on so I could make sure I could see the comments if anybody has any chat. There we go. I pulled up the chat for us. So the market is different. And so right now we've got to realize, how do we overcome where we are right now and moving ourselves forward? Because to execute successfully, we must have a strong emotional outcome to what we're doing. And do we have a strong emotional outcome? Do we know what tomorrow is going to look like, or what tomorrow is going to feel like if we have success? Because we're focusing on a couple different things. The reason why I say that is a couple different books. The first book I'm going to talk to you about is from the 12-week year. And this book says, it's what you learn after you know it all is what counts. And that's kind of funny, because in real estate, we can go to Google and we can type in, how do I do real estate? And that's going to show us 90 different ways of doing real estate. So there's no secret sauce to real estate. We know how to do real estate, but it's the idea of, how do we do what we know, and how do we actually do it? We know how to do it, but how do we actually do it? And that's the hard thing, is doing it. When I look a little bit further into the same idea, it says, you need to really be considering what it is that I'm doing, because there's nothing like a deadline to get us motivated. So do we as agents have deadlines? No. We just kind of do what we want to, because we could say we want to get it done on Friday, but what happens if we don't get it done on Friday? We just wait till next Friday and do it next Friday. And if we don't get it done next Friday, we'll wait till next Friday, to a point where we never get it done because we always put it off, and now it becomes comfortable having it being put off that we just don't do it. How many of you guys have gone through a whole week of wanting to do something, and then by the time Friday comes, you didn't do it?
Yes.
And you're okay to do it. And then what happens is the next week on Monday, you say, I'm going to get going this week, and you still don't do it that week. And how many weeks does it take before you just give up on that idea? It's really weird how we all go through that situation, or all go through that thought process. When you focus on changing your actions, you experience incremental improvements. However, when your thinking shifts, everything changes. Your actions naturally realign with your new thought patterns. Now, if you don't start with your actions, you start with the way you think. So we need to understand, what is this thing that we're having that can give us an essential, a strong emotional state. So in our brains, we have a fight or flight reflex. And the fight or flight reflex is the part of your brain is called the amygdala. And the amygdala in your brain is the portion of your brain which helped us survive in evolution, if that's what you believe. As they survived in evolution, they just hide in caves, and you're scared. So we would go, no, I'm gonna hide in the cave, and because I need to live, I need to make sure that I'm not gonna die. But that also made us hide in the caves, and until we got hungry. And we got so hungry hiding in the caves, what did we end up having to do? We had to leave the caves. And we had to leave the caves in order to find food. And that leaving the cave is a different part of your brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain which is trying to push you to create bravery and to create the strength to overcome obstacles. So if I have these two fighting, conflicting parts of my brain. One part of my brain is, I'm scared shitless. I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to make the call. I don't want to do anything. It's too afraid. I'm afraid of what that client's going to say if I call them. I met them at the open house. I'm not going to call them. I'm afraid to call. I'm afraid of door knock. And then there's the other part of the brain that's going to make me call. I'm going to call. I'm going to do it. And those are two fighting. So if I don't do anything, if I do not make any calls and I don't make any aspect, you're strengthening the part of your brain which gives you fear. You're just becoming more scared, right? In order for me to overcome that, I need to fire up the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of our brain that gives us bravery, the part of our brain that gives us the strength to want to make the calls. And so that's why it says to execute successfully, I need to think about open vistas of what the future looks. That's why we have these classes at Keller saying, what's your future? What is your big why? What is the reason why you're doing things? Because if you can focus on what success would look like, that will fire up that part of your brain to help you want to take that next step. So thinking of the future allows you to overcome this being scared today. Because if you're going to create a breakthrough, if you're going to reach that next level, you have to move through the fear, uncertainty, and discomfort, because there is discomfort in this job, isn't there? Do we get uncomfortable calling people?
Yes.
Do we get uncomfortable telling people we're in real estate? Hi, I'm real estate. Oh, I don't want to say that. I'm going to upset this person. So we don't say it. But if I need to get something I've never had, I need to do something I've never done. I remember as an agent, oh my gosh, how am I going to go get this? How am I going to do that? And the business that we have right now is so big that I don't even know if I know clients anymore. And although we have a big, flourishing business, I am no longer on the level of the individual client. But at one time I was, and I could never see myself getting to another level. But everywhere you have that you're trying to get to is going to hit a ceiling in complexity, and you're going to get to a point where you don't know what to do. You have to take a step back and move yourself to the step forward, because you got to get those breakthroughs. And the thought is, do you have a vision that clearly captures and articulates what you want in life? Do you know what if you have success in real estate, what does it give you? It's going to give you. Do you guys know? Does anybody know? If I have success in real estate, what do I get? Short term versus long term. I have a short-term goal. I set myself, if I reach my numbers, I need to by the end of this quarter, which is I only have 2 months left, I go to vacation to Hawaii. I've already booked the trip, already booked everything, but I put insurance on it. So I can, one click, I can cancel the whole thing. If I don't reach my goals in 2 months, I have to cancel the whole trip. So now I got skin in the game. I got to reach my goals in order to go on vacation. If I don't reach my goals, I don't go on vacation. I can articulate what it looks like. So do you have short-term or long-term goals? Anybody? Anybody out here? Without, you were gonna say something? No. The reason why so many people fail to follow through when things get difficult is because they have a lack of a connection to a personal life. Because I can say to myself, oh, I still want to do it. And then you just don't do it. That's as simple as it is. As a real estate agent, you want to do what you want to do, but all you do is you look at yourself and say, I just don't want to do it, and then you won't do it. Because the secret to living your life to its potential is to value the important stuff above your own comfort. I say that. Secret of success in real estate is to do things that are uncomfortable. Is that what I'm saying? It's to do things that are uncomfortable. Right here, it says from the book, the secret to living your life to its potential is to value the important stuff above your own comfort. Therefore, the critical first step to executing well is creating and maintaining a compelling vision of the future. In order for me to do uncomfortable things, I need to be having a vision of where I'm going to go. Because if I wake up in the morning and I forget about the Hawaii trip, I'll blow off the whole day. I won't do shit. We'll do it. I mean, I do stuff, right, for everybody else, but I won't do what I need to do because I'm an employee of my company, so I've got to help everybody out when we need it. But if you're going to create a breakthrough, if you're going to reach the next level, you need to move through fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. And the first step is to create a personal vision of where you're trying to go. Because we are wired to resist change. We just don't want change. We don't want to because we found a comfort. We like comfort. We don't like uncomfortableness. Could you imagine going to a baseball game for your kids and asking every single person who's standing in line for hot dogs, do you need a real estate agent? Do you need a real estate agent? Do you need a real estate agent? It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Am I telling you to do it? No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just trying to explain, is that an uncomfortable feeling? That's uncomfortable. But too often, if we do things in real estate that are uncomfortable, we will give ourselves permission to not do it because it's uncomfortable. We will give ourselves permission. We will negotiate with ourselves and give ourselves permission to not do what we need to. But in order for us to be successful, I need to do those things. I need to talk to people about real estate. How many people per day are you talking to about real estate? How many? 1, 2, 5? How many appointments are you making per week and sitting down with someone saying that I want to buy or sell? How many people? You can put in the chat box. I can see if you guys write in the chat box. How many? How many do you do? How many do you meet? You physically in front of 5 people per week.
Per day.
Per day, you meet with 5 people a day?
Like on phone or like in person. Like
okay, so I talk to 5 people a day. It's amazing. That's 25 people a week. It's great. And how many of those 25 people end up being a buyer or a seller that's ready to buy or sell right now? Maybe 1?
Yeah.
Maybe. So your success in real estate will be directly proportional to the amount of people who are ready to buy or sell that you get to sit in front of, and they have the ability to say, yes, I want to work with you, or no, I don't. So that 5 people may be enough 5 months ago, but maybe now needs to be 10. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Everybody's different. Some people have the ability to sell better than the others, so maybe more or less or so forth. But we tell all of our agents on our team, in order to have success, you need to try and get in front of 2 people per week who have the ability to say, yes, I want to work with you, or no, I don't. And those 2 people can't be someone you're showing property to this week and next week and next week. That's still just one person from 3 weeks ago. I've got to be thinking every day, who can I meet with that's thinking about buying or selling? And not in 9 months, but right now. I got to find them right now. Because imagine if there's 4 weeks in a year, I mean, not in a year, 4 weeks in a month, and I meet with 2 people a week, 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 8 appointments this month with brand new people. Do you think I'd reach my goals if I hit 8 people a month? I would. I'd reach all my goals, wouldn't I? I'd sell everything I need to. I get listings, I get buyers. But too often we're not doing that because we're moving ourselves right back to our comfort level, and our comfort level comes straight back to our comfort level is not calm. It's comfortable. Our comfort level is waiting till our phone rings and we answer it. That's a comfort level, right? Waiting till the phone rings. Hi, how are you? Nice to talk to you. That's comfortable. Me calling you, oh, that's hard. Who here, do you find it easy to make your calls? It sucks, doesn't it? Hi, this is Chris with Keller Realty. How are you? I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's hard. But if you have a script and you get past your first call, the second call is easier. And the third call is easier. But you just have to know what you're saying. You have to have confidence in what you're saying and be and believe in what you're saying. Like, hi, what was your name again?
Raymond.
Raymond. So, hey, Raymond, it's Chris Alston with Keller Realty. How are you? So the first thing you're going to assume is everybody you call, it's their phone number. It's not the old days. Hello. Hi, is Raymond there? Let me get him real quick. Hold on. It's none of that. First thing answer the phone is this. You don't need to say the name. Hey, it's Chris with Keller Williams, your realtor. How are you? Hey, I noticed you're looking at the property at 123 Annie Street online today. Do you want to go take a look at it tonight, or is tomorrow better?
Tomorrow probably yes.
Right. So I got to go for the close, right? I just have to do it. Hey, I noticed you're looking online and I wanted to see, is this the type of property you're looking for on 123 Annie Street, or were you looking at another neighborhood? So give me an excuse on why you don't want to talk to me.
I'm just not in the market right now.
Okay, well,
I'm just looking.
oh my gosh, I love looking too. Well, what needs to happen there? What areas are you looking in?
Around San Jose.
Around San Jose? What needs to happen for your looking to be ready to buy in? I know it's not proper English, but you know what I mean.
Probably setting up a little bit more for a down payment.
Okay. Are you aware of some of the low down payment programs that are available right now?
I'm not.
You're not. And the best time to buy with a low down payment program is in a buyer's market. You know, the market right now, it benefits you more than it benefits the seller.
I did not.
Yeah. Well, since you're not wanting to buy right now, see you later, bye. No, I'm just kidding. I think what we should do is get together and talk a little bit about what it would take. You think that'd be something you might be ready to do to see if that's, at least you can know whether you want to or don't want to? Okay, do you see the thought? I'm just trying to find a way to, everybody counts, everybody matters. I don't even know. Or how about the person who says it's listed at 900,000, but they want to write it 800,000? Okay, let's write the offer. You don't have to lose. It takes you 5 minutes to write an offer, right? Write the offer and put it out. Who knows? They may go up to 850. They may come down to 975. They may go to 860, come down to 870, and 865 we approve on the contract. We got it done. You never know. Write the contract. All right. So there are two principal things that you can influence your results: is your strategy, which is your plan, and your ability to execute. So as a real estate agent, we go to all these classes like Millionaire Business Planning Clinic. We go to Shift, we go to Bold, we go to all these things, and they tell us how to do our job. We go onto Google, they tell us how to do our job. We write down, I'm going to take 10 listings and I'm going to do 4 buyers and I'm going to call, and then we stop right there. And then we don't know how to do what we wrote down that we want to do. You guys ever have that problem? You know what you want to do, but you just don't do it. You don't do it. It's called a fail. We struggle with it. We struggle with not creating the strategy. We have trouble with executing the strategy. We have trouble with doing what we need to do. It's no secret. I mean, I can tell you how I do my job, and there's no secret. You can just, like I said, just Google it, go into kw.com, and how you do real estate. Ask this guy right here. He's the president of the company. Say, hey, Mark, how do we do real estate? And he's going to tell you the same thing that I've done. It's no secret. I went to team leader training with that guy, Mark King. He and I were both brand new team leaders at the same time 20 years ago. So he probably doesn't remember me. I mean, I'm like, oh, it's Mark. But that's the thing is we know how to do real estate. Do you know how to do real estate? Just say yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do real estate? Yes, because I know you from the other market center. Do you guys know how to do real estate?
Still learning.
You're still learning, but you're still good at it, right? You know how to do it. Do you know how to do it every day without fail and make your contacts every day and reach your goals and numbers every day? That's the problem. I mean, we say we do, but do we really? So to achieve a goal you never achieved before, you have to start doing things you've never done before. And the real enemy of execution is your day job. Now, I don't mean day job as far as day job as I have another job. No, I mean your real estate job is your day job, and that's your enemy of your lead generation. Because you want to service, you want to order inspections, you want to look up this property, you want to do an MLS search, you want to look at some emails, you want to do this and this, and you do all this crap that has nothing to do with lead generation because you're giving yourself permission to do that shit instead of the real stuff you need to do in order to get your job done. So your enemy of doing what you need to do is all the other crap that ends up paralyzing us on a daily basis. Think of it. I have servicing versus lead generation. What do you think servicing is? Tell me some ideas of items that you would think is servicing, and you can type it in the chat box for you guys online. What is servicing? What are things that are considered servicing and not sales? You got to give me at least 5 ideas. I'm going to sit here and be quiet until you guys give me 5 ideas. Throw some ideas at me. What are some things that we do as real estate agents, which may or may not actually be real estate related? I mean, lead generation related. Networking, but networking could be lead generation. Because if I'm networking and I talk about real estate, that could be active lead generation.
Look on the MLS.
Looking on the MLS is totally servicing a lead. It has nothing to do with making money. Driving across town to get my boba, that is not lead generation. Looking at reports and disclosures, that is not lead generation. Doing my business plans, not lead generation. Reading a book is not lead generation. Calling a client back who asked me a question about an existing file is not lead generation. Ordering inspections is not lead generation. Lead generation is about things that can create business for ourselves. And so we end up getting locked into the servicing of our clients thinking that it's lead generation. And we call this the whirlwind. I call it getting into the weeds. Are you getting out in the weeds? Because while you don't lose track of the numbers, so in the whirlwind is your day job. It's all the things that you need to do on a daily basis in order to be successful. And what I mean by that is there's 4 different things that we're going to be talking about, which is my wildly important goal, focusing on your lead versus lag measures. We want to focus on a compelling scoreboard and then keep ourselves accountable. But you have to think about, my goal is to buy and sell real estate. And am I doing that today, or am I getting stuck in the weeds? Stuck in the weeds, imagine you're driving on the freeway, you're driving your speed, but you actually pull over to the side of the road, or you run off the side of the road, or you stop driving. And that's when you get stuck in the weeds, or you get stuck in the whirlwind. It's taking a call to someone who needs to talk your ear off about something, servicing a file that stops your lead generation. What you as an agent need to figure out is, what is my wildly important goal? What is it? What is a wildly important goal? Can anyone give me an idea of what a wildly important goal is? What's a wildly important goal? What is something as a real estate agent, which is the most important thing that, above and beyond anything that I've got?
Getting appointments.
Getting appointments is our wildly important goal. In fact, ding, 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 that is your most important goal as a real estate agent. So imagine my first and foremost thing, and the 4 things today is I need to make appointments every week. That is your wildly important goal. Your goal as an agent should be 2 appointments per week. 2 appointments per week. That is your wildly important goal. We call it the WIG. Wildly important goal. WIG. Wildly important goal. So nothing else matters but a wildly important goal. However, I can't necessarily tell you exactly what your how to get there, because if you focus on the wildly important goal, I'm focusing on a lag measure, not a lead measure. And what I mean by that is there's always going to be more good ideas than there is capacity to execute. Now, you're going to always get these emails that are going to say, try this, try that, look at this way to lead generate, look at this way to lead generate. You should do all this sort of stuff. And the reason why we keep getting that is because they're trying to sell you stuff. All my agents come and say, hey, have you thought of circle calling? Hey, have you thought about this program? Hey, have you thought about that program? And I have to say, stop. Your wildly important goal is one thing. It is making appointments. Nothing else matters. And if you try to do too many things at the same time, you're going to end up failing at them all. Because the reason why we fail is because we only have enough brain capacity to handle 1 or 2 things at any particular time. If we try and do 3, 4, 5, or 6 or 7 different types of lead generation, we're going to suck at them all and we're going to fail. So the idea is we need to stay with one until we have learned it. And once we end up learning that, then we can move on to something else. So we see the idea is to people simply don't understand the goal and how to execute the goal. And our goal right now is a wildly important goal of making our appointments that we need to on a weekly basis. The next thing we have to realize is what is more important, or how do we get that goal? How do we make appointments? What do we have to do to make appointments? I got to call. I got to talk to people. So my wildly important goal is 2 appointments, but is that a measurable? Is that something I can measure? Because if I give you the idea of lead versus a lag measure, there are 2 measurements, right? If I want to lose weight, that's a measurement, what my weight is, right? I am at this weight, this weight, this weight. That's a measurement. But there's also another measurement, could be diet and exercise. So of those 2 things, what is something I can control more than the other? My weight or diet and exercise? What can I control more?
Diet and exercise.
Diet and exercise. If I do good at diet and exercise, I then will be better at what? Weight. So in the analogy with this is, The diet or the weight is your appointments that you set. Diet and exercise is your calls and contacts. So now I've got to think, I need to split that up into two different things. Although if I want to run a better race, I'm a runner, and if I want to run faster, I need to practice, which is my diet and exercise. And when I run the race is my appointment. Because when you get to the start finish line and you're ready to run the race, I can no longer practice to become better. Whatever I've done is it. So I can't calculate how well I'm doing for a race. I need to calculate how well am I doing in training to be better at race. I can't calculate how many appointments I made. I can only calculate how many calls and contacts I made. So my first thing is I need 2 appointments per week. That's my bare minimum. I tell to everybody 2 appointments per week. But in order to achieve that, I need to have a certain number of calls and contacts per day. So my wildly important goal is contacts, but my lead measure that I'm going to be focusing on every day is calls and contacts. If I focus on my calls and contacts, I will ensure that I achieve the numbers I want with my appointments. Because too often we think is I got to get an appointment, but no, don't worry about the appointment, worry about the calls and contacts. So then we hear the other story is, okay, well, I need to make sure that I want to make sure that I have 1 hour of lead generation a day. Now, how is that good and how is that bad when I say 1 hour of lead generation a day? Well, 1 hour of lead generation is good if you have no other lead generation at all because you went from 0 to 1 hour. But the misnomer of that is there a lead or a lag measure on 1 hour of lead generation? 1 hour of lead generation doesn't give me any result. 1 hour of lead generation is just, I'm going to go out there and lead generate without a result. So if you're going to think of it that way, you've got to think, I'm going to lead generate until I get my desired result. And the desired result is what? 2 appointments. So now my lead generation doesn't have a timetable on it. It's just, I need my 2 appointments per week. I must lead generate for a week until I achieve what? 2 appointments per week, especially in a shifted market. Your house better be getting 2 appointments per week. If you're not getting 2 appointments per week, you're going to struggle. And it is hard. I'm telling you, with all the 20 agents on the team, we got maybe 70% are getting to those 2 appointments per week. And when they do, they love it. It's exciting. It's amazing when they get 2 or 3, and then that becomes the new habit. And now every week they're getting 2, and they're not letting it down until they get 2. But it takes a while to get from 0 to 1, and it takes a while from getting 1 to 2. But when you get to the 2 appointments per week, you're creating a business that's worth having. Now, the idea is the enemy of execution is your day job. We call it the whirlwind. It's a massive amount of energy that's necessary to keep your operation going day to day. And ironically, it's the thing that makes it so hard to execute anything new. So if you try to execute 5 things new right now, it all fails because your whirlwind is too big. So the idea is focus on one thing that you can do, become good at that one thing before you add something else to that item. So if I continue to move ourselves forward in it. So we want to focus on what's wildly important. I'm going to take a step back. Basically, the more you try, the less you can actually accomplish. So there's always going to be more good ideas that you can execute. So your first challenge is to focus. Gary Keller would always say, narrow your focus and you can do more. When I say narrow your focus and do more, it means focus on one thing that you're doing and do it better than you've ever done it before you try and do something else. Just focus on that one thing. If it's open houses, do it better than anyone else who's ever done. If it's door knocking, do it better than anyone else has ever done. If it's working your database, do it better than anyone else has ever done. Focus is a natural principle. Imagine the idea is if you focus less, you can achieve more. You can't execute 5 or 10 items because the more you do, it dilutes your efforts. How many of us are trying 9 different items of lead generation? Have you ever tried lead generation that didn't work? Tried something that you tried, it just didn't work. Now, when we focus on the idea of what our lead versus our lag measure, it is the idea of leverage. It's based on the simple principle that all actions are not created equal. Some actions that you're going to be doing will have more of an impact than others to reaching your goal. And it's those that you want to identify to reach your goal. So again, the lag measure is how I did the race, the weight. The lead measure is the training that I spent and or the diet and exercise. So a good lead measure has 2 basic characteristics. It's predictive of achieving the goal and can be influenced. So as I'm trying to learn to become better, I could be around other people that are doing lead generation and I could focus on them and work with them in order for me to come forward. Because I tell you, I don't know about you, but I've gone a full day and felt so tired that at the end of the day, I didn't do any lead generation. You guys ever been in that situation? I did nothing, but I worked a full day. Now, that can go one day. If it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, by the time Thursday comes, you're going to blow off the whole week. And the whole week is not going to have anything. But the understand is don't misunderstand that The important thing is you're trying to make appointments, but you'll give up after a while. So why is that? Why is it that I know what I need to do? I need to make appointments. No, I know how to do it. I need to calls and contacts. Why is it, do you think, that we give up? We do it for a week or two and then kind of just stops and we go back to our old way of doing business. Why is that? What do you guys think? Any ideas? Anybody online?
You're not getting the results you want.
No, okay, yeah, not getting the results you want. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, and someone in the audience here is saying it. What were you gonna say also?
Yeah, maybe so you got to start the appointment with that client, and then you take care of that kind of the client, and it's forward to that one. So continue to do consistently to lead generation.
So we're hearing two things. I work and I'm not getting the desired result, which then gets me frustrated and I don't want to do that anymore. But we understand one thing, the basic principle we have to understand is that give it 3 to 6 months, whatever new lead generation type you're doing. A lot of us give up before we actually see the results. It's not linear. When I do business, it's not, I start here and have success here like this, 3, 4, 5 months, and then it's going to go. It's going to be a bell curve before it goes up. Now, what we're hearing here in the office is, I will work, I'll get a client, and then I'll stop lead generating to service the client. And I'll work with the client and close the deal and make the money. And then I have nothing. And I have to turn around and lead generate to get business. And then I get business. And then I stop lead generating. And that's the problem. Almost every single one of us go through that because we give ourselves permission that showing the client property is more important than anything. I need to show this client property. I need to be out there. Well, no, damn it. You need to be lead generating, which is more important than showing that property. You need to be lead generating, which is more important than that appointment. Because if you can lead generate on a regular basis, you're not going to have those ups and downs. But it's so hard to do that because we put all our eggs in the one basket with that one client. But then what happens is when we close escrow, we come back and we have no clients. So you've got to make sure that the lead generation becomes more important. It's very similar to going to a movie, right? Has anyone gone to a movie in the last month or two? What'd you go see? Doctor Strange, Top Gun?
Yeah.
Top Gun. So when all the previews were done, you put away your phone and you watched the movie. Did you look at your phone for the 2 hours that you felt the need for speed? Nope, didn't look at it. Then when the movie was over, you looked at your phone. Do you think anyone really needed you in those 2 hours, or were you okay to call them back at the end of the 2 hours? Were you okay? Did you even care?
Didn't really care, but even still, we could have waited.
That's a weird thing about real estate, is that they can wait. They can wait. It's okay. It doesn't need to immediately call them back. And if I need to block that time for my lead generation like it was going to a movie, where I'm not answering the call. Because the minute I answer a servicing call, my lead generation stops. Because it takes me 15 minutes to get into lead generation mode. Now I'm in lead generation mode. Oh, I took a phone call. Now it takes me 15 more minutes to get into lead generation mode. And now I've already burned a half hour of doing nothing, trying to get myself into lead generation mode. Now I'm back in lead generation mode, and I've only made 9 calls in an hour and a half. And you need to be call. If your phone rings, you don't answer. They can wait. You need to get that 1 hour of lead generation in. When it's done, then you go to servicing. Now, a lot of people say, how do I do that? Well, I could split my lead generation into 3 different functions. One is prepare, one is call, one is follow up. Okay, so one is prepare. You could do that in the morning when you're watching YouTube, watching the news, whatever. Prepare who you're going to call, Joe and Mary and this person, and get everybody ready to call. Look over their stories. What are the stories? So I'm ready to call. When you're calling, you're not reading the stories. You already know them. Look at them, understand it, and then take notes of the people you talked to, the people you didn't. And then later in the evening, I don't know, while you're watching Outlander or I don't know, whatever, you're going to type in the notes for those clients in the evening when you're not in your lead generation time. That allows you to maximize. So if someone else is watching TV and you don't want to watch what they're watching, get out your laptop and update those clients you called that day. Maybe you review who you're going to call tomorrow. You don't have to do it all at one particular time. But the idea is people, so I got this, I need to do my appointments, but I need to call and contact to make the appointments, but I got to keep doing it. And I got to find a way to keep doing it. And it's like, imagine you go to the park and you see a bunch of kids playing basketball. If nobody's keeping score, it's pretty lighthearted, right? People just score a basket, and it eventually becomes boring because Why is it boring? Why does that basketball game that you're watching in the park become boring if no one's keeping score? Because you don't know who's winning or losing. But the minute that they keep score, things change. It's more aggressive. They want to win. So that's a big change is if I'm an agent and I'm keeping score, I now need to and want to be better than I was last week. I want to and want to and need to be better than other people. That's why when you go to Bold, you have to write down your numbers on the wall. That's why when you're on when you're working in groups or a mentor partner, you have to disclose what your numbers are. Because if you have to keep score, you don't want to be worse than you were last week. If you made 19 contacts last week and you're at 16 this week, well, hell bet you're probably going to make at least 3 more. So you're at 19 because you don't want to go and publicly tell everybody I made less contacts this week than I made last week. Or if I have to go to Bold, I need to know that, hey, who made 2 appointments today? And if I don't raise my hand saying 2 appointments, I don't want to do that. I want to stand up and say I made 2 appointments. So having a peer group where you have 3 or 4 or 5 agents together who you meet on every Monday and talk about how many calls, contacts, and appointments you made could be very beneficial. Because now you have to come to that meeting like going to a gym together and you have to say, I made only 1 appointment. And your agents, your fellow agents can say, bruh, I only made 1? Come on, you need to do 2. We need to do 2. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make 2. And that can help get you overcome by having a compelling scoreboard. So the idea of, again, I focus on with the wildly important goal, which is the appointment, focus on the calls and contacts to make the appointment, find an accountability partner, which is going to help me achieve that I need to report my numbers to, and they report their numbers to me so that we can hold each other accountable to reaching the numbers we're supposed to. And the last aspect is creating a form of cadence of accountability, which is that accountable status of meeting with your coworkers. Because if you meet with your fellow coworker on a regular basis, then that will allow you to create that cadence. So by coming and meeting, I need to tell you what I did. I write down my numbers Monday through Friday, which means I'm writing my numbers down somewhere. I just need focus on what? Calls, contacts, and appointments. What else do you need to know, right? So when I come to the meeting with my fellow coworkers, I can say, I made 19 contacts last week and I met with 1 person and I've got 1 appointment. And everyone else is going to be able to report that as well. Now, do you see how uncomfortable that could be? Of meeting with your friends and telling them how many appointments you've made. But the experience is when you are regular and frequent meetings will help you achieve that wildly important goal, which is so important. So the idea is if you are let me go to this part right here. The problem with being able to do this is you. It's just you. Because you are yourself, your own worst enemy. And the own worst enemy is the one that's going to force you to not want to do things. Now, how are there some ways that you can achieve it? You could read, if you're on the ALC, I think you've gotten this book before, but the 12-week year is an interesting book. And the reason why the 12-week year is an interesting book is it says, instead of a 1-year basis for your real estate career, it says, take your real estate career and divide it into quarters. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Because what happens in real estate is if we do it on a yearly basis, by November, we haven't reached our goals and we're pushing hard in November and we don't reach it by December and then we start over again in January. But if you could do every 3 months, imagine you want to close 1 transaction a year, or 1 transaction a month. If you want to close 1 transaction a month, then what you're doing is you're closing 3 transactions a quarter. 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12. But if you're doing a 12-week year, if you close 3 the first quarter, well, why don't we try and close 4 the next quarter? And maybe the next quarter we close 4, the next quarter we close 5. So instead of 12 for the year, we did like 15 or 16. So it allows you at the end of like when you go through a 12-week year, every 4 weeks is a month, which is 1/3 of the year. So by the second month of the 30-day or the 90 days, by day 60, you're almost done with the year. And if you end the year and you don't reach your goals, you can reset yourself every quarter. So every quarter you have the ability to reset yourself, figure out where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do. So we as a team operate over a 12-week year. Every 3 months, we reset everybody. And the numbers, calls, contacts, appointments, deals, and then all the records are based upon that month or that quarterly basis. So that every quarter, you get to start fresh and start new. So if you had a sucky quarter, you can start new and get yourself on the ground running. So the idea with the 12-week year, it is an easy read, but it talks a little bit about your emotional connection. Why are we doing this? Things that you know, things that you don't know. How does it change the way you're thinking? And then the other book that we talk a lot about is The 4 Disciplines of Execution, which helps you understand focusing on what's wildly important. So as I go to some thoughts of, if you're trying to set yourself a goal and you're trying to say, where am I trying to go? What am I trying to do? A lot of times people will say, I have a goal of closing 4 deals this quarter. That's usually what they say, I have 4 deals. But when it's not enough, and when you're thinking about being coached, or if you're coaching, or if you're working, you need to think of a mathematical equation of from X to Y by when. And what that means is, imagine I've closed 2 transactions last quarter and I want to go to 4. You don't say I want to close 4 transactions this quarter. You say I closed 2 last quarter. I want to close 4 by the end of September. It's a definitive answer, right? I'm at 2. I want to be at 4 by when? I closed 7 transactions last year. I want to be at 15 this year by the end of 2022. And then you put that up everywhere you can, because now you're looking at it and it has an ending. 2022, end of 2022. There is something you have to look at, and there's something powerful about seeing the numbers written down in that fashion, from X to Y by when. So every coach out there, every coaching company talks about that, have a definitive goal, not just I want to close 2020 or I want to close that many. I need to have it done by when. So the thought about this is another interesting graphic that I pulled out of one of the books was, if I have 2 to 3 big audacious goals, I'll probably achieve 2 to 3 of them. If I have 4 to 10 audacious goals or ways to lead generate, I probably will only be good at 1 or 2 of them. If I tried 11 to 20 different ways to be successful, I'll suck at them all and I'll actually fail. You see the idea? If I'm trying too many things, I end up failing. So you don't have to be good at everything. Just focus. Your first thing is calls and contacts through sphere of influence. Master that. Once you master that, maybe do open houses. And don't do anything else until you've mastered that. Don't add on door knocking. Don't add on for sale by owners. Don't add on expires. Don't add anything else until you've mastered that. And if you haven't mastered that, go find a way to master it. Because you're seeing right here, prime example, if I try too many things, I'm going to end up sucking at them all. So when we say, why is it so hard to narrow your focus? And the reason why it's hard to narrow your focus is because when we talked about what that is, because you're actually thinking of too many things at the same time. And I realized I didn't even fast forward our item, the slide where we're talking. So unless you're consistently held accountable, your goal will naturally disintegrate into the whirlwind. You just will go back to the way that you've been doing things. So what do you think are some ways that you could be held accountable? How do you think you could have someone help you do it? Anybody, even online? Oh, we got someone. Oh, it's just an auto thing. What are some ways do you think that you could be held accountable? What do you think? Or online? Okay, peer partners, your team leader, your productivity coaches. You can go to Bold. You can find people online. You go to Facebook groups and find people online.
Chris?
Do Facebook chat. Yeah.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. I can't see
Fantastic.
you. It sounds, I don't know who it is.
This is Yvette. Hold on a second.
Okay, I thought it was you. I heard your voice.
How's it going?
Good.
Great. So, Chris, one of the things we do, we have a group of 4 of us that meet at 6:30 every single morning on Zoom. And we go through a miracle morning setup. We do an accountability. We read a book together. We listen to a book together. We discuss it. We write down our appreciations. We say our affirmations. And by the way, last year we did the 12-week year, and that is definitely something to implement again. So thank you for the encouragement with that. So that's our accountability. We've got 4 of us meeting in the mornings, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And the idea is having it also is very uncomfortable if you've never done it before. Going to do an accountability meeting. Oh, you would never catch me doing that back in the old days. And now I do all the time. We have every morning event for our team. People ask, what do we do for our team? Monday and Thursday are Zoom calls with the whole entire team, every location online, with me leading it Monday and Thursday. On Tuesday and Wednesday, each local individual office has their own meeting, 9:30 to 10. In Sacramento, it's in person. In Silicon Valley and Santa Cruz, it's via Zoom. Sacramento is Placer County, so they never really shut down in Placer County throughout all of COVID. So their office meetings still have 70, 80 people in their office meetings. So it's a little bit of a different animal out there. So we have our daily meetings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday are accountability sessions with myself. So So each agent has to sit with me 30 minutes to review what they're doing, how they're doing it. It's not really coaching, it's more of consulting. It's me really understanding what they're doing and going forward. So each agent thrives on that and they're okay with it because I'm going right into their dashboard. I'm looking exactly how many calls they made, how many contacts, how many appointments, what were they saying. And they need that because if they don't get that, they won't do what they need to do. As crazy as it sounds, because we're all agents, we don't want to work. We don't want to work if we don't have to. So, but that's good. I like the idea of that morning call. I think that's great. That's a good way to hold each other accountable. All right. So, so again, the ideas of getting yourselves together. There's not we have about 10 more minutes here right now, but the whole thought is, in order for me to get past what I know I need to do and actually doing it is called execution. And it's one of the hardest things to do as a real estate agent. How do I overcome that? How do I get that? So again, the idea with how do I become better at execution is focusing on those things. Focus on your wildly important goal, focus on calls and contacts to make the appointments, have some sort of a compelling scoreboard where you can write all this stuff down and have someone helpful to you accountable. I can't see everybody online. I'm sorry. I'm going to, so I can't see you guys that are there, but I want to see if you guys have questions. Again, we're in a really big team. I operate all the teams based on what I just talked about right now, but what are some thoughts that you have that you may be bubbling up that I can help you overcome right now? Somebody's got to have something. Come on, throw it at me. I feel so quiet.
I think the greatest struggle people, like everybody wants to be a superstar and nobody wants to do the work to get there, or the difficult work that it takes. I mean, everybody says they want to do the work, and when it comes down to it, it's like, how do you get motivated? How do you get going? I'm a strong believer in that if you're not a good motivator on your own, or if you're not getting the job done on your own, then get into the office. What are some of your recommendations for people, their surroundings, to make them more productive?
That's an interesting thought. I've been always told so many times that you can't motivate somebody. You can't teach motivation, but you could teach them the principles of what it takes to become motivated. If that makes sense. So I can't stand up here like one of those guys, be motivated, it's amazing, yay! Because that's not going to motivate you. Motivation is going to come from deep within. Now, Gary Keller talks about the power of one, which is the one thing that it can motivate you in your life. But that one thing, whatever that is again firing up the prefrontal cortex of your brain, which it creates that thought. So my motivation would be, I'm a marathon runner and I want to be able to hit a time, and I have something I picture in my mind. And when I don't want to run, I picture that, and it gives me the motivation to go. So sometimes we have to slow down and think, what would success in real estate give me if I can clearly define it? Now, everybody on our team that has a page in their journal, we have journals that everyone has to look at every single day, and they have to rewrite every Monday is, I'm building wealth and wholeness in my life in regards to my job, my business, my finance, my personal life, my physical life. What do I want to do for the year? What do I want to do for the month? What do I want to do for the week? What do I want to do today in order to achieve that success? So every morning before you do the lead generation, we come right back to that page, which reminds you why you're doing this, fires up that prefrontal cortex and gets you ready to do your lead generation. So sometimes you need to have a dream board. I mean, it's as basic as a dream board, right? Where you have a picture of the car you want, the picture of the house that you want to buy, the vacation you want to go, the missions you want to build in other countries. That if I look at that, maybe that could articulate enough to give me the motivation to be able to move ourselves forward. So motivation can come in a lot of different ways. Some people with high D's are self-motivated. People with high S's maybe need to be hugged to be motivated. So the idea of what you're saying about it, I've got to find and unlock that motivation. And that could come from like a class, Quantum Leap could help you. The Power of One can help you. If you look online, those classes really help you uncover what that is, because that thing. Oh, I see someone saying doing vision boards at KWSV. Oh, Cindy, I didn't know you were on there. Hi, at one of the offices on the 17th. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. What was I just saying? Can anyone remind me? What was I just going up? Was it going to be an important thought? Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of the vision board, but maybe it could be just one picture of something that you could look at on a daily basis to remind you of that remember I'm going on vacation to Hawaii, and if I don't achieve my goals, I have to cancel it. So I have a picture of Hawaii that I look at, which reminds me to get on the phone and make those calls. And the days, as crazy as it sounds, when I get on these calls and I make the calls at the early in the morning, by about 3 or 4 o'clock in the day, I'm done. Now the opposite is because you have an 80-20. What's up, man?
So Chris.
You have an 80-20. Everyone understands Pareto principle, 80-20, right? So I have 20% of what I do will bring me 80% of my profits. We know that. If I have 10 things to do on my list of to-dos, if 2 of them are important, 8 of them are crap. Gary Keller says, I challenge you of your 80-20, take the 80% and don't even do it. Just do the 20%, and I'll bet you'll make the same amount of money. Now, he doesn't say throw it away. I'm not saying do that. But the idea is, of everything I'm doing, only 20% really matters, 80% doesn't. And are we actually focusing on the right things? So in the situation where it happened here is if I focus on that 20%, the rest of the day becomes easy. But if I don't focus on that 20% and wait to the very end, then it all sucks, right? By 4 o'clock, I haven't done any lead generation, and I probably won't. I won't do any lead generation. If I haven't done lead generation by 4 o'clock, just forget it. Just forget it. It's fine. I'm done. So that's a good point, though, as far as the idea of being motivated. Does that give you a good idea about being motivated versus not being motivated? You're probably muted, but if you lack motivation, it will end up hurting you. And so you have to find what that motivation is. And unlocking that motivation and writing it down, so you look at it every day before you do lead generation, will allow you to push yourself forward. All right, any other questions?
Chris, I just want to ask, I'm going to expand on that a little bit, and hopefully you can take us in another direction. So I know that it's really hard for people to get motivated sometimes. I know that sometimes just having a situation, a surrounding, an area, a location to come to kind of forces you to get your mojo going. And so what is your ideal location or situation for new agents in particular? I know we've got some new agents on this call, to get them in the habit of doing the right thing. What's the surrounding? What do you recommend for your brand new people on your team?
Okay, so most important thing I think of anybody is to come into the office, any way you look at it, because if when I'm at home and I'm lead generating at home, it sucks. I want to hug my kids. I want to say hi to them. There's a YouTube video comes up, I watch it because it's funny. Look at the doggies and they're I swear to God, for like 4 minutes today, I was watching a video on dogs howling. I mean, just that's all it was. I don't know why, but I was watching, I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm like, I got to prepare for a class today. So but I can't do that in the office, right? So I think the most important thing as an agent is just to come into the office and do your lead generation in the office and let people hear you do it and let people hear you screw it up. Because the best way to get better is by hearing other people and doing it yourself and learning from mistakes. Because you could study and study and study your scripts and still suck at them. And the best way to do it is to suck at them and do them and learn and study, and then suck at and doing them, learn and study, and you become better faster. I mean, you could, practice scripts fast enough to become amazing at it. I dare you, you probably do it quicker by actually just doing it. So if I can't come into the office, then I would say to Zoom with my coworkers or my accountability partners and do my calls with my Zoom on. So maybe for 1 hour a day or for 45 minutes, it's free for 45 minutes. We do lead generation from 9 to 9:45 or whatever time doesn't click with the office meetings. And that's my lead generation. And you just mute yourself or leave you unmuted while you're doing your calls so they can see you making your calls. So now you can't get away with not making your calls because everyone's seeing it. And it will be uncomfortable the first or second time you try it, but I've got to do it, right? In order to get what I don't have, I need to do things I've never done. And maybe that could be another way you could do it. But I would say in the Sacramento location where I'm at Tuesday and Wednesday, all 10 of us are together every Tuesday and Wednesday, 9:30 to 10. That usually spills over to 10:30, and they stay in the office. And we're lead generating. More appointments occur during Tuesdays and Wednesdays than any other day of the week. Now, I don't lead our Silicon Valley team. One of my other partners, the CEO of the company, leads our Silicon Valley team, and they're with each other all day long, and they do lead generation. But most lead generation occurs in person because I call, I make the appointment. Yes, I'm like, yes, they're coming, it's right. We're all high-fiving each other, and it's great. Woo, yeah, it's awesome. Okay, no, get back on the phone. You only made one so far. Okay, I'll have to make some more calls. Or if I screw it up, they're gonna be like, oh my God, I effed it up. They use the real word. They don't say F. Oh, okay, I could have done this. What do you think? I could have done that way. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, oh God, I could have done it that way. And they're never gonna mess up like that again. And the other agents are supportive, like, oh my God, I know that happened to me too. I remember when that it was the worst. And then, okay, we're gonna get back on the phone, and we call. And we're all calling from the same room. And I mean, in all of our locations, we have offices, and we're sitting one here and one here, and one's over here, and we're all talking at the same time and over each other. If you need to, you just leave the room and you go talk over here. It's like, no one cares. I don't even care. If I'm talking and there's other people in the room, nobody cares. They just think you're in a big, busy office. So I'm gonna press play and typed in background music, so it looks like I'm in a busy. Yeah, it's the whole team. We're all doing lead generation. It's just me in the office, right? All right. Any other questions or any other thoughts before I sign you guys off? It's almost 2 o'clock for you. Our amazing team leader's here right now, so she's awesome. Anybody else? And Alan's in the back. So, my homeboy. Anything else? Any other questions or thoughts? You got me. All right. So my email is right there. Email me with any questions. Just give me 24 hours for a response. Okay. Just I'm a living, breathing agent, just like you. I do have a podcast. I haven't updated it recently, but those are real estate related podcasts. So you could listen as an agent and read it and go, oh, that's kind of cool. It's there. Feel free to like it and comment on it as well. Again, I'm Chris Alston. I run an expansion team out of Bay Area, Sacramento, and Santa Cruz. So if you need Sacramento referrals and you don't have an agent that works here to cover Sacramento, feel free to call me. I'd be happy to help them. But if you have an agent who works here in Sacramento, use them, because this is Alan's office and he's awesome.
Was that helpful, you guys? Was that valuable?
Yes.
Yay, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah.
Please come back again. We appreciate it.
Oh,
So
yeah,
thank you.
definitely. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.